You're now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
It's Queen 3 and King. It's Queen 3 and King. It's Queen 3 and King. Queen 3 and King, we the team, it's going down. We the talk of the town, it's going down. We royalty, wear our crowns, it's going down. Tune in now, it's going down. Queen 3 and King, we the team, it's going down. We the talk of the town, it's going down. We royalty, wear our crowns, it's going down. Tune in now, it's going down. It's Queen 3 and King on BS3 Network. Queen 3 and King.
How did that didn't win intro?
You're muted.
Yeah, okay. Give me a second. Welcome to another episode of Queen 3 and the King. I am your host, the King. Doc in the building. As you can see, we have a couple of guests here in the building, and we're going to change this just a little bit here. Give me a second. I'm going to try to anyway. All right, so we're going to get into some introductions. Miss Producer, do me a favor. Let's put the men down on the bottom, and let's put the queens up top, please. And we're gonna get into some introductions. We're gonna start out off with the season queen, who's almost in Van Augustine. She was. You missed the award show the other night. Let's see. She had on some skinny slacks. What is?
Boy, that was a jumper. You don't know.
See, there you go. I started to jump her too.
You got jumped back.
Yeah. You ain't been able to whoop me just like your mom. You ain't been able to whoop me since I was about 8 at least.
I'm gonna let you have that.
All right. So the season queen out in Anna, Texas, which is one of the fastest growing suburbs in the country. It was just reported. And when that was reported on one of the social media sites, in the comments, it said it said Anna, the new South Dallas. How's it going, Queen?
Forney is all South Dallas.
Talk to the people.
Hey, y'all. I hope y'all had a great day, because I did.
Well, good. We're glad to hear it. And next, we have the educator queen. She went with the 24-inch length Yaki, and as a result, she's got a crook in her neck. So if she looking at me like I might be telling a falsehood. So let me just ask you: do you have a crook in your neck? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why.
No, ask her about that Yaki.
No, that's all right.
That you lying about.
So
that's all right.
You see her looking funny. You see her looking funny or something like that. That's why. Look like her right jaw swole too. So I don't know if she got a piece of candy in her mouth or she dipping snuff like
Thank you, Lord.
You got your spit cup with you?
Just keep calling on the name of Jesus.
All right, so we got the educator queen. Talk to the folks. Queen?
Good evening, y'all. And I for real have a crook in my neck. And I don't wear no daggum Yaki. It's them whack heifers that you got wearing them Yaki. That's why you know. Shots fired.
Well, let me just say this. I'm not gonna say that there have not been some skeezers in the past that I have allowed to so let me ask you this then. So you're telling me that's not Yaki, that's human hair?
It's braid hair provided by a braid shop. That's not Yaki.
So tell me the difference. Educate the brothers here. We trying
to Canacolon here.
We don't know if we can't fire. Can I fire a blunt up close to you? I don't know what the deal is. I need to know if it's gonna.
I pay enough money for you to fire it
up. Why the season queen laughing so hard?
Because she know you ignorant.
Yes.
No, I got a crook and I'm gonna cuss.
All right, good. All right, let's move to the baby queen. formerly known as Blake's mama. She is now formally entrenched in the corner of Bronxy Mama. Y'all see her on social media. He get all the videos. He kicking it. He's spitting his toothpaste out. He doing all of the above. Talk to the people, Queen.
Hello, everybody.
I guess the producer don't want y'all to know what the show title is today because she ain't put that up on the screen. She's so busy wearing her pink in the background. All right, and we got
you to focus.
Well, if she want me to focus, she done came to the wrong show here.
Lord.
She know that don't happen. All right, so now let's go ahead and go with our special guest here again to cover today's topic. We're talking about black men abandon black boys, so we're gonna dive into that. And I couldn't think of two better brothers to talk about that with. So first of all, we have Eric Butler Sr., the Atlantic, and he's gonna have to explain that to me because it used to be the Intellect. Maybe he misspelled it.
Because I am the Intellect, aka the Atlantic, because I'm cold, deep, and choppy.
Oh,
okay. All right.
AKA Colorman, I'm the biggest diamond ever found on land, and ain't nothing nobody can do.
He came up with that
show,
baby.
Okay.
Got y'all together.
That's why I got your glasses. That's why I got your glasses over here. You ain't that cold with these glasses over here. I got your sunglasses sitting over here. Okay. All right. So you're doing well today, sir?
No, I'm doing excellent. I refuse to be anything less.
I love it.
Amen.
Yeah. Also, I won't go through what I do because it's posted up under my name. So I'm the co-host of Perspective on the BS3 network as well. So
yeah. And when can you define that show? When can they see you on that?
Every Thursday evening at 8:30.
All right, cool. And as you can see, again, have black men abandon black boys. Gary, the philosopher Freeman, was supposed to be here. He is not. We replaced him with Eric Butler Sr. And then, of course, we have Justin Caraway because we were scraping the bottom of the barrel. And speaking of the bottom of the barrel.
Don't do him.
Oh, not my cousin.
Yeah, don't do him.
Hey, we gonna forgive him. Hey, that's how he do when he love you, apparently.
Yeah, you already know. I often tell people, if I ain't talking about you, that's when you need to worry. So again, we have Justin Caraway, community activist. He is the young Dr. King.
Come on, community activist.
Yeah, he is. That's what he is also one of the hosts of the Elevate podcast. Talk to the people, Mr. Caraway.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm really excited about this topic. I'm excited to hear these brothers' thoughts as well as my sisters up top. I think we're in for a very special show and a real treat here.
All right, producer, tell us where you want us to go. You want us to go comments? You want us to dig right in? It is on you. So what I want to do is I want to do some initial thoughts. And let's see. Let's start with we're gonna start with the Atlantic Intellect, and he said something else. What else you say? Beside that, Cullinan. Spell that for us.
Kullinan.
And can you define that for Justin?
Well, it's a play on the word. Just replace it with a C. Look that up, and you'll get all the details you need on the Cullinan diamond. It was the biggest diamond ever found on land. It was 3,000 plus carats. Which and I am a brother of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and we are brothers of the diamond. So that name bestows me. I'm Big Brother Freeman, and so that's where the tie is.
Y'all better not
so let me ask you
this. Today, baby.
So there's two questions I got about this diamond. You said 3,000 carats.
3,000 plus. Yeah, it was a lot.
Okay, so that's a lot of rabbits then, huh?
Say.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That too. I can't. If I keep going, we gonna keep going.
Yeah.
We don't run out of bullets. So
all right. So Eric, let's start with you, brother. Tell us about this time when you just first hear that. Have black men abandoned black boys? Tell me what your initial thoughts are.
My initial thought is hell no. That was the first thing that came to mind. However, I can understand why someone would think that or speak that, but I'm pretty sure we'll unpack that and get into that deeper into the discussion. But my thought is no.
Okay, so let me ask you this: did you when your hell no? I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, came from the fact that you were looking at it from your perspective and probably the gentleman you surround yourself with, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But whenever you thought about it a minute, and you thought about a broader view, you said, okay, I understand why the question is there, and it may be some validity to it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, because it's based exactly off of perspective. So it's definitely going to depend on what your personal, your lived experience may have been in that, things that you've seen and what's around you. And, but I know for a fact that abandonment on Black men's end that's not the case. But I think I'll unload a little bit more about why I think that's even a misconception.
Okay, cool. And viewers, we want to make sure and get your thoughts as well. We want to, again, our viewing audience is some of the funniest, some of the sharpest individuals out there on any podcast on the network, as far as I'm concerned, whether it be your Gary Freemans, whether it be your Derek Smiths, whether it be your whoever, y'all tell us what you think about these questions as well. Justin Caraway, tell us what you think, sir. Have Black men abandoned Black boys?
Initially, same thing as Eric. Hell no, that's not a true statement. And sometimes people misconstrue the word father with dad. It's a totally different ball game. But to piggyback off Eric's point, hell no, we haven't. I feel like we all have witnessed men from personal experience in all of our lives here on this podcast have witnessed men step in and be what we needed them to be. So to answer it in a nutshell, absolutely not.
All right, cool. Baby Queen, initial thoughts. Have Black men abandoned Black boys?
I guess just speaking in general, I say yes, but no more than Black mothers have abandoned Black children as well. So I think this is a two-ended sword, so to speak, because we often put the narrative on Black men, but there's some sorry Black mothers in the world that we have to give just due to as well. So I think that I started kind of generalizing, hey, if we're going to talk about this, we got to talk about everybody.
Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you, we're going to circle back to you a little bit later and ask you to elaborate a little bit more on that. Okay. The educator crook queen.
That ain't funny.
She almost spit out a grapefruit juice. It must be funny.
I done looked up stuff on how to get rid of crooks. I'm drinking juice. I done took all kind of stuff, everything. Stop it. I don't think Black men have abandoned Black boys. I think it comes from the misconception of them abandoning sorry Black women.
Ooh.
Sorry Black women.
Tabernacle.
Yeah.
And sorry Black women say they abandoned their children when they have not. They just abandoned you, sis.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff I can say about that one, but we're going to let it ride. We're going to let that marinate for just a little while. All right, season queen, have Black men abandoned Black boys?
I think that not all Black men have abandoned boys. They're Black boys, but there's I would say maybe 50% or so of them or less have. And not only what Alicia said too, picking back off of what she said. When I was talking earlier to somebody about our topic for today, I was talking to Chastity, and I said there are not only men but women as well that don't take care of their kids, or they're not there for them. They don't care. They just doing their own thing, being in the streets, doing what they want to do, and not thinking about their children. But not all Black men or all Black women are doing that, but there are some that are doing it.
Right. And I want to, with Eric being on here, this serves as a reminder for something that he always says on his show. H-Rap has said this sort of thing as well. The first thing is that, it is healthy if we see things differently. So we always encourage not only the people on our panels, but the people in our audience is that if you see something different, you see it a different way, hey, bring it up. We're all open-minded individuals, Absolutely. We because we come from a culture, we gonna stand up for our point. We gonna represent our shit really, really well. You know, but that doesn't mean that we're not considering what you say by any stretch of the imagination. And then Eric also says generalities. Remember, we are speaking in generalities. So we understand that the individuals in your life that you're exposed to, it may not apply to. We're talking in generalities and what we need to do as a culture in general to kind of address this. So I'll give my comments and then we'll get some comments from the viewers. We'll put some of their comments up and then we'll go into our next question. So for me, just the general question, have black men abandoned black boys? Abandon is a very, very strong word, you know. More appropriately, have they failed black boys? I think, yeah. In fact, I can even say I'm guilty of failing black boys from time to time. And I, you know, I will be the first to say that I'm an above average man when it comes to dealing with boys, whether they be my own or those in the community. However, there are still opportunities that lie out there that I probably could have done more, you know. Now, of course, some of those decisions not to were calculated decisions because you never know how mama gonna react. You never know how that dude that's with him gonna react. And I said that intentionally, that dude that's with him, because you don't know what he is. You don't know if that's their daddy. You don't know if that's mama boyfriend. You don't know if that's whatever, you know. So again, in an effort to try to kind of stay somewhat neutral, even when there were opportunities, I may have passed them up. But what I've done is I've gotten more creative on how I've decided to impact young black boys. You know, give an example, just in this 4711 here, I saw a couple of young black boys in there, and I thought they was behaving really, really well. And they were having some high level conversation for their age in terms of the decision they were making on what they were going to buy. We've all been there, right? We got a limited amount of money, you know, and it's like, and I heard one of the little black kids tell the other one, he goes, hey man, be careful on what you select because you got to factor taxes in there. And he said, they be getting us on them taxes. And I thought that was smooth, you know, so I said, I'm going to cover whatever they're buying so they can keep their money in their pocket. And I'm going to tell them, I appreciate that conversation. Those are the kind of conversations you need to have, you know, whatnot. And so that interaction allowed me, it gave me more. If y'all don't get this cereal bowl and shit out of here, it gave me more leeway. It gave me more room to be able to, you know, let's just say minister to them, you know, in that moment on that's what you need to be doing. That's a good thing. That's a, you know, stay away from this, get on that, so to speak. So again, I've had to be very creative in the way that I've addressed it. So again, for me, failing, not abandoned. Okay, let's get a couple of these comments on the board here and see where we have in the building. We got Keisha Walker in the building. She goes, good evening, peeps. What up, hey, Keisha? Hello. We have one of the homegirls, our producer, Miranda Lee. I know that's not. Oh yeah, they be look at her. They think look at her. When you see if you ain't following them on social media, you missing because you see.
Hey, because they circling them videos.
Hey, you don't have to tune in to Real Highs Wilds of Nowhere. Hell, we got them right here. Because they be putting them videos out there, and I wonder how many takes they be taking them because they be stepping and shit. All right, we got my homeboy Mayhem in the building.
What up,
he says evening all. And Mayhem, I want you to make sure and put down what you said mentioned something about this topic last night, and I know you have some opinions on it. So please feel free to share those. Okay. Appreciate you, sir. We got the Blue Streak Freak in the building. Theodore Harper, he goes, hey, Three Queens and King Dog, guest BS3 podcasters. Thank you, man. And then we have Facebook user again, Facebook user. I'm not sure exactly who this one is. But please make sure you give Facebook permission to utilize your name on StreamYard. And let me correct you, his name is not Justice. His name is Cornbread. I am tired of telling y'all. That's his name. It's Cornbread, not Justice. All right, we got BS3 Network. I'd assume that's probably Ben Sutter III, the gentleman who put BS in BS3. And then my homeboy. I got to see him for the first time in person at the award show. Mr. Jeff Gilliard, you know, he goes, I don't think abandon but I think selective. The young boys these days don't listen to elders. Hey,
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's 100.
That's a good point.
That's 100. He goes on to say, both my best friends, I'm going to go to this comment, both my best friends in the same place. Oh, he talking about me. Who the other one? Eric Butler?
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah,
his energy. Let me just shout out. Let's just shout out to Jeff because his energy is insane.
Here.
In person.
Yeah.
It's the exact same. And I love those type of people. Don't change it up on me. He is the exact same.
He didn't care the scripture. He didn't care whether it was a joke. He didn't care what it was. He was hotter than the.
Yes, and I loved it.
What had you sipped on, Jeff, before you got there? That's what I want to know. And then Facebook user says, "Hey, y'all, not sure who that is, but whoever you are, we appreciate you. And let us know what you think about this topic as well." All right. So where do you want to go next, Miss Producer? Are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 20 years ago? Wow, that's a
deep question.
Great question. Are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 20 years ago? Let's start with the season queen, Nicole, Darling Nikki, Bonnie Maroney, Skinny Minnie. They didn't used to call her the truth. They didn't used to call her the truth, but she was the truth.
Oh my boy, almost cussed.
She was. She didn't used to smoke blunt. She used to smoke them white boys, them little bit.
I was the truth back then, but God changed my life.
Yeah.
So you can't be the truth when he changed your life?
You couldn't tell her nothing when Mama bought her that 1987 Ford Tempo.
It wasn't 90.
You couldn't tell her.
It was an 85.
I said 87. Okay, it was 85. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So tell us, Nikki, answer that question.
I was born in 87.
Damn.
Are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 20 years ago?
Oh, that's a tough question, because if you really think about it, back in the day, when probably even 20 years ago, a lot of homes were broken up already, and men had walked away from their responsibility because they probably, all of them didn't do it just because they wanted to, but because it was so hard to deal with your mama, the kid's mother or whatever. But I think that I really think that it's probably has increased some.
Okay. And so you think it's improved?
No, not improved. I think it probably has improved.
Gotten worse.
Some.
Okay, it's improved some. Okay. Mika, the educator queen, tell us, are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 20 years ago? And obviously, you see this just a little bit different than us, because you should see some of the angles of their support in school and that kind of thing. So are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 20 years ago?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say they are worse, only because when you call for parent conferences or family nights or different things like that, things within a community or neighborhood watch nights, you see a lot of moms. You don't see a lot of dads. So I'm going to say it has changed immensely, because I don't think we value what family is anymore. And we have a lot of women saying, I can do this by myself, and blocking the blessing of having a dad in their family, even if we just co-parenting. We don't have to like each other. We just have to co-parent. So yes, I think it's gotten worse because, in our minds, we're like, okay, I got it by myself. I don't need him.
Yeah. And for some reason, for me, people who do not co-parent, it stands out much worse than it used to. It's like, now we done all grown up, haven't we? Don't we know you got to be co-parenting nowadays?
We hope.
I saw one of my texts told me, and I know he wouldn't mind me telling this story. Where you talk, because I have conversations with my people, not just about work. So we were talking, and I was asking him how his weekend was yesterday, and he says, they were exchanging the kids because it was, time was up for one and the other, and so they were not only exchanging kids, they were exchanging the puppy, the dog, for the kids. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, because when the dog go with the kids go with the dad, and the dog come. When they go with the mama, the dog come. And I'm like, that's y'all co-parenting dogs with this thing too. Go ahead, So yeah, I think co-parenting nowadays, if you're not doing that, that's 101 stuff now. It really is. You should be digging into the getting better at co-parenting. raising the bar of co-parenting at this point. You know,
but you got to be healed and not bitter.
That's right, you do. Which
absolutely. And there's a lot of people that are not healed.
Are not healed and still carrying around years of guilt, or I'm sorry, years of hurt.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
So, yeah.
Now, you better put a number on that shit. What you better do?
I sure was.
Okay.
Did you look that up?
I was sure about to go in.
I love it. I love it. See what happens, and I'm just gonna pull back the curtain. For all of us, when we get a question, it is natural human nature for us to think of a scenario that shapes our answer. So we'll start giving specifics of the shit. Where if you're listening close, you can tell who we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then I was about to put a number on that thing. You was going to be very clear on who I was going with.
With Mika, she has a different insight because she's around kids and parents and all those things in the school districts and stuff. Yeah. So you would know better about all those things. And I didn't know that men are not still participating in their kids schooling.
But you
and
also
stuff like
have
that.
to think about the area. That can vary from area to area.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And you don't know, like I said again, I think they have to make a concerted effort to be involved.
Right.
Like if I'm a dad with kids right now and I'm not with the mom, I'm going to be asking her, hey, can you provide me the schedule? Hey, can you make sure you give me the teacher's email address? Hey, can you make sure that they communicate with me anytime there's something that goes out? Can they email both of us, et cetera, et cetera? Because again, some moms might not be giving that information, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, because some
dads are probably resting on that, say, well, she ain't telling me nothing. Well, that ain't enough, Negro. Just because she ain't telling, that ain't the only way you can find out,
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, Lily, on you, are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 2 decades?
I think they've gotten a little bit better. And I say that because I'm coming from a place to where I see a lot more dads being involved, especially just with things that we've seen in the media, right? We talk about Black boys and police officers and raising them and all that kind of stuff. So, and I look in, when I'm dropping off my kids at school, they have an initiative, I think it's called what is it, dogs, like dads of girls. So it was a lot of Black men. I was like, oh my gosh, look how many Black men showed up to greet these kids to go into school. And you just saw those little girls getting out the car, seeing their dads. And that just makes so much of like a big difference in those kids' day and their life and their week. We talk about just pouring into kids. I've seen a lot of dads step up, even when they didn't have the example coming from their dads. So I would say that it's gotten better, in my opinion.
Yeah. In fact, I've talked to a lot of men who, because they didn't have that from their dad, they have made a concerted effort to make sure that they
absolutely.
So, Mr. Caraway, are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 20 years ago?
I would definitely say it's getting better. The reason I say that, and to Alicia's point, I'm part of, here in Roy City, I'm part of the All Pro Dads at Justice School. And we
community activists.
And not only that, but I mean, even some of my work in Garland, like, some of those kids, whether girls or boys, don't have father figures. So being able to mentor and be an example for them, to let them see that, hey, someone actually does love and care and give a damn about your success and care about your future. And to your point, I mean, for fathers that are listening, you don't have to wait on her to give you that information. You can show your ID, your child got your last name, that school will work with you. They will say, okay, we can't communicate. Can you please put me on the correspondence so I know what's going on with my child? And they will definitely look out for you. So it's always, you have to be willing and able to go that extra mile. You can't just sit back, because it's stereotypical for us to think when it comes to our child's education, that's the woman's job, right?
Yeah.
But when it all boils down to it, you have to step up and play your role too as a father.
Yeah.
Speaking of failing their kids, they sons. Let me just say this: Justin Wiley Price Caraway.
I'm gonna tell somebody you said Wiley Price.
Yeah, Justin Wiley Price Caraway. Because John Wiley Price done got a replacement in this community. If you don't get cornbread in the cereal bowl, out of here.
Go fix some cereal. Good God.
Is that what he wants?
Lock him out. Put him in a put him in time out for about 45 minutes. Hey, he ain't got nothing else to do. Tell him to go work on his twist for 45 minutes. Hey, give him something to do. All right. The Atlantic, tell us, are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 20 years ago?
It's hard for I've been thinking about the question the whole time, and it's hard to answer because I don't think it can just be quantified in just like 20 years ago. Because most things that you're experiencing, you're dealing with, are the results of things that have already been implemented and have been happening previously. So if we're talking about 20 years ago, I was in the school district. I was a teacher's aide and a coach. And I think, and we're talking specifically Black men, they were there. And so talking to those kids, most of the times when the father wasn't there, it was for the typical reasons that we've kind of mentioned. You're not with the mother, but many times it was the mother making it difficult for that child to be in that child's life, or the father was either deceased or he was incarcerated. Those were the top three reasons why they weren't there. And so it wasn't many instances where it's just, I know my dad and my dad wasn't there, because, I almost had to whoop a few of them because, you ain't playing my boy enough and why you holding him out, and those type of things. So was the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse? I would really say it's really about the same. So what the real question I think is, have the elements that used to keep Black men out of young boys' lives, or to have those things improved over the last 20 years. But I want to stick to the point we're talking about Black men as a whole. And I think we mostly think about fathers to these kids, but Black men, oh man, I've seen Black men come up like champs.
That's very true.
Do you hear me? Yeah. I know many of them who have been stepfathers who father like they made them. You know what I mean? Being a part of organizations. I worked at the Boys and Girls Club when I was young. And then being someone whose father was murdered when he was 9, and I didn't have him, man, my uncles, man, God took my dad, but my uncles filled it nicely. You know what I mean? And coaches that were there. So I think, to answer the question, I would say it's not necessarily the contributions of Black men to the community are better or worse. It's like the things that affected Black men, are those things better or worse for them to be there for them. Because I've always seen Black men come up to the plate for those that even those that are not theirs.
All right, good. I'm glad you went there with Black men answer, because again, it's not just the fathers, it is the uncles and the grandparents and the cousins, and because you got some older cousins that can mentor some of these young kids or whatnot. And then it's also peer-to-peer too, right? So for me, the answer is the easy one on this one. Are the contributions of Black men to the community better or worse than they were 20 years ago? And I'm going to give you that answer. And once we do, we'll go back into some comments. It is not only better 20 years ago, it's better than it was 30 years ago. It's better than it was 40 years ago. I don't think there's any question whatsoever that there has been a change in how Black men contribute to the community and to Black boys. I don't think there's any question about it. I remember this news story about these Black fathers that would go to their school every day to fire up those kids. You know, and stories like that all over the world. Some of these Black teachers that are out there that's got handshakes for every single kid in their classroom, and stories like that. And so my homeboy Jeff gave an answer there, and he said it was a good question, but my answer would be that they are worse. They only show up for the cameras and the lights. One of the things that we have to be very careful about in our community is believing everything we see in the media and what it looks like in the media, because again, they're gonna put the narrative out there that they want us to have, right? And it's fine. It may look like they're only out there for the cameras, but what are they not showing you? And what is the hidden agenda behind what they are showing you? So
and we also live in a social media era, so everybody's trying to pull out their phone to film whatever's going on. So
And squeaky wheel always get the attention, and that's usually negative.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So I think for a fact that it's a vast improvement, because there was a time to where it ran rampant. And again, Eric talked about some of the reasoning behind what were the contributing factors to keeping us away. But we cannot forget the welfare system and its specific designed attack to the Black family in terms of you can't get this assistance if he's around.
That's right.
Calculated approach.
That was true.
Calculated, strategic approach because they knew that is the strength of our community is the Black family. So we got to attack it. How do I attack it? Then we're going to have laws and legislations put in place that says, okay, if you want a few dollars from us, he got to be out of there, And so, which that's a whole nother show, but needless to say, it's a contributing factor to how we got from point A to point B.
And Teg, just to the point, I found it difficult to answer this question because my perspective, hey Eric, was different from if I'm as an educator, from if I'm in a relationship or in my family. In my family, Black men are all around.
Amazing.
They're present. They're amazing. They're gonna step in and they're gonna do stuff. So I'm thinking in two different ways, education-wise and in my family. In my family, it looks different, but in education, I see a different thing. But I'm gonna be real with you. When I'm in education in a different zip code, it looks different than when I am in another zip code.
Wow. Okay. And then also, let me just say this: with that statement, let's not forget that the types of jobs that certain communities have may contribute to a person's ability to be able to participate.
Come with it, dog.
The higher end jobs that you have, the more flexibility you have.
Absolutely.
Or if you happen to own your own company or whatever the case may be. So again, some of these jobs, they're more skilled labor, blue collar type. They can't get away, to be at PTA, and stuff like that. So or field trips or whatever the case may be, So that's a contributing factor as well. Okay. Next comment. We have Keisha says, my daddy said it was hard to deal with my mom, and that's why he left us twice. My sisters feel like we suffered due to him not being present. I can't lie, him not being around made me feel like I could do it all by myself, and I did. Not sure if that's good or bad, though. It's both. It's good. You got to know you can survive, but you got to know when to turn it off. Right? So good comment. All right. Let's see. Ben said also earlier, Jeff was excited for his wife. Love it about his participation at the show. And he goes, I think it's better, but it's just not advertised. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that. Yeah. Yeah, because again,
they didn't advertise because in my district, I'm gonna tell my district, but in my district, we had all pro dads at every campus for the first week of school. They were opening car doors, they were getting kids into school, they were hugging kids. A couple kids were crying. They was like, I got you, walking them to class and all that stuff. But that's not advertised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, that's why I say with the media and stuff, we got to remember the narrative that we live in a country, okay? And again, we hesitate to say this sort of thing because we all got white friends. Hell, if you was at the BS3 Network Awards, you saw we had some good white folks come in there, to support us. We got some that support this network, and stuff like that. Hell, and I'm gonna tell you like they used to say to us, some of my best friends is white. I promise you. We got one that's in our family, that's been in my business partner. He's been in our family now for 20 years, and he family,
That's right.
And so, but we can't ignore the fact that we come from a culture, a society that strategically attacked our race. So the perception would be changed. The birth of a nation, and how it may, again, went black. There is still. Justin and Eric, I know I don't even have to ask them this. We have never had this conversation, but I know they done been around a white woman that done tensed up around me.
Sure.
Or grab their purse. I know they have. I don't have to ask them.
So I grabbed my purse around them.
Yeah. So
I like it. She out there fighting for us, man. I'm gonna get a lick back for you.
So my point is that there's still a narrative. It's just a more sophisticated approach to getting that narrative out there because the tools are more sophisticated. All right.
Yeah, man. They move the goalposts and change the rules. We're always fighting an uphill battle.
I'm telling you, man.
So when we talk about us being there for them, man, they don't make that easier for us to do.
Nah.
And despite that, I would say, for the most part, Black men have been there in some capacity.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Next comment. Okay, let's see. She goes, Keisha says, my daddy didn't show up for anything that was an after school event, and he was a teacher at the school we attended. Yeah.
I didn't mean to laugh.
Yeah, I did. But my dad not being there caused my mother to be a POS dad. Oh, my brother to be a POS dad. I'm just saying, hey, you know what? Sometimes that's the case. People who are not meant, in fairness to your brother, I don't know him, but fairness to your brother, he wasn't ready to be there. He was a brother. There's no way he was prepared to be your dad the way a dad should have been, so he probably thought he was, doing well,
I think, but isn't she saying that
her own kids?
Yes, she's saying that her brother was
okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
History repeated itself, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff says, come on, cold, deep, and choppy. Talking about quantified. Okay, so Bree says, yes, we have some awesome men in our family. I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Facebook user, not sure who this is. That job thing is super important. I can schedule clients around school events, whereas most people are not able. 100.
Yeah.
100. Facebook user, I grabbed my purse and asked her too. The revolution will not be televised.
That's Latoya Gilliam.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Next question. In your opinion, what can be done in today's society to encourage and uplift the Black men to be better fathers? And I'm going to start with that one. In your opinion, what can be done in today's society to encourage and uplift the Black men to be better fathers? Well, I would say Black men, Pastor of mine used to tell us as a group, that men are the easiest creatures in the world to train. Not only did he say this, Dr. Gray wrote a book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And he described us as porpoises. And he goes, which is like a dolphin. He goes, they're easy to train. If you see a man doing something you want him to do again, reward what he just did. Reward that behavior. The pastor I used to have said, he goes, if you see if your man out there mowing the yard and you go out there with some lemonade and and a towel and you give him a glass and say, baby, you sure doing a good job on this yard. Here, I bought you some lemonade and wipe his forehead down. He said that joker cut the whole neighborhood. He's like, so it's easy to train him to reward the behavior you want to see. If he's giving you affection and you want to see it more affection, say, baby, it make me feel most special when you're so special when you're affectionate to me. If you see him doing well and with being a father, reward that behavior, and you're gonna get more of that behavior. No, I'm not just talking about rewarding it by sex, because I know a lot of folks talk that way, but also reward it that way if that's what's necessary. If that's what's gonna get the job done. If giving him that monkey gonna make him a better daddy, give him the damn monkey. So
and the panda and the tiger,
whatever. So that's how you encourage and uplift it from inside the household. And then men, me and Eric had a conversation the other day. It's probably a couple of weeks ago now. Time flies. And that conversation, it really just started Eric calling to thank me, encourage me, uplift me. and it turned into, we had church over the phone, doggone near, basically, for probably 30, 45 minutes when it was all said and done. And so that is necessary as well. Men reaching out to other men, men's pointing out to other men, hey man, you're a good daddy. You know, I appreciate what you're doing. Et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's necessary as well. So let's go to somebody else in the panel. In your opinion, what can be done in today's society?
I'm gonna go, Doc, because you just took my whole encouragement. Is black men need to support black men. We really need to. We need to hype each other up when we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, but that ties into what Doc says. I don't even know if it can get around that. You know, be encouraged, be complimented, be supported when you're doing the right things, and to know that you have a community of other black men that'll do that, and black women. But women, they turn the, you know, they the neck. They're gonna turn the head. Whatever men really go, how y'all make them go. It's just like that. So what can be done in today's society to encourage and uplift black men to be better fathers is like women give those dudes the kudos. If women highlight them, if women give them the shine, give them the compliments, and as in Doc said, give them the monkey.
All right now.
No, it'll change. It'll change. I promise you it'll change in a year. Women could stop so many things in society right now if they just, hey, we like giving the monkey to people who act that way.
That's right.
That way, who dress that way, who talk that way, who think that way. If they the only ones getting the monkey, all men
would be that way,
dressing that way, thinking that way, and acting that way. And that's a fact. I argue on top of the hill. I don't care.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Yeah, you 100. 100.
White, black, green, purple, orange, from Mars, from any other planet, any culture. They could stop racism if they wanted to.
That's
so
right.
Y'all all about the monkey?
No.
That's gonna be the headline. That's gonna be the headline.
It's the motivator.
And it's not just the monkey. So on a serious note, Mika, I thank you for opening that door. It's really, man, when you have, there's nothing like the support of a woman.
That's right.
It ain't
and
like it
and because of the love language we speak, that monkey speaks that support.
It's spiritual. It's deeper than just a monkey, you know, because a cat can buy monkey or whatever like that. But I'm talking about that support, that backbone. A man he'll lift a house, and he ain't never lifted a weight in his life. I done seen it happen.
Wow. Okay. Justin Wiley Price Caraway. In your opinion, what can be done? Is he froze? What can be done in today's society to encourage and uplift black men to be better fathers?
I think he kind of froze.
Well, I mean, to piggyback off, I think Alicia was saying this before we got on. The mothers actually stepping up and understanding their roles and what they mean, not only to us as men, but what they mean to our boys and girls. What we're seeing now, especially on social media and in today's society, I'm seeing these little girls that don't know how to even value themselves. Their role models are the Cardi B's and Nicki Minaj's, and I gotta have a brand. If the man ain't pulling, 6 figures or better, then he ain't man enough for me. Mm-hmm. But one thing that conversation you had when you told me should be your biggest influence. And to me, that really registered because, like you said, the example you gave, if I'm outside doing some yard work or I'm outside doing anything and you just come and show me that appreciation, it's gonna do that type of behavior, that from you, that gratification, that appreciation that you have for me. And it just trickles down within the family because they always want to point out happy wife, happy life. But if your man, the head of your house, ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And I think that we need to get back to teaching these young women how to be young women and teaching these young men that, yes, she is a prize, but you're a prize as well. Because it's too often that we get this mentality of, well, I got to protect, which is true, but also that woman has to be willing to encourage you and be your helpmate and be able to be your backbone and support you. You already go out and fight the world every damn day just by being a black man. So when you come home, you want to be able to find your peace and your happiness, right?
Yeah,
You're right.
Right.
And that's, I think that aspect of like the mentality, like I understand not wanting to be abused, taken advantage of, but I don't think the women in this day and age don't understand really the value of that. They think the value of having the bag or being a financial leader or having that independent or that power to speak and make things move or that influence, so to speak. They don't understand, but being able to influence the man, being able to make an environment that is appealing, to pour into the children. I mean, who is the future? I mean, it's just so important. Some of those more nurturing elements, they just don't understand how valuable that is. If you bring that to a man or you bring that into a home, and that it's much more powerful than going out with the gun and the spear and protecting and killing the food and bringing it back. Because you can go and kill the spirit of food, bring it back to what? So that's even more important. It's equally important, if not more important, but that's not celebrated. That's not highlighted. That's not put out there or advertised in today's society. And I think that's a big issue to kind of tie in with what Mr. Justin Wiley Price just said.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you like this too. We got a producer now. You start talking crazy in our chat room, she will ban your ass and take you off the
am hollering
because see, I'm a little nice. I let you ride a little bit. I just skip over your comment. She will ban your ass and remove you from the place.
Okay. Good day.
Good day, Kia. I know that's right. She said I got stuff to do.
All right. And I'm telling you like this. Justin, raise your hand when you want to talk, because I'm muting you. Because even though it's only 2 people in your house, it sounds like y'all got 75 people over there. Yeah.
He keeps freezing too.
So now you keep that. I done muted you now, so you just write us a note.
Don't do that.
Okay, Lily, in your opinion, what can be done in today's society to encourage and uplift Black men to be better fathers?
I think y'all have said it. I think pouring into our Black men is what's gonna get us there. Like I'll randomly just pour into Black men. Like, I appreciate you, kings, like whatever, with a Facebook post, whatever, just to know that we got y'all back. Like Justin said, they go out into this world every day fighting the world just to come home alive. So I think that we just have to pour into our Black men in our community and just continue to highlight. We are so quick to post the negative with Black men and repost and share those videos of this Black man only got this for his kids for school, like those type of posts. But we don't ever highlight when the Black man is at least trying. I think we all can attest to that, because we've seen it all over the web. You rather blast a Black man for not doing or living up to your standards than to praise him for at least trying. So just pouring into our Black men.
Okay, cool. Nikki, you got anything else to offer on that? In your opinion, what can be done in today's society to encourage and uplift the Black men to be better fathers?
I think that, just like you said before, we need to appreciate our Black men. Not only the ones that we're married to, but our sons that are watching their fathers that live in their household, or even if they're not in the household. But I have 2 young sons, and I want them to be, when they get older, to be the best fathers that they can be, the best husbands that they can be. Mm-hmm. And both of those young men are doing their thing. But I just want all Black men to do what they need to do to help other young boys and girls. Yeah, okay. Don't leave the girls out. I know it's for men too, but there's a lot of girls too that don't have a father at home, and sometimes not even a mother at home. So those things need to be taking care of those girls and those boys as well, not just the girls.
Mika, in your opinion, what can be done in today's society to encourage and uplift the black men to be better fathers?
Quickly, I think the answer to the question is found within the question: encouraging and uplifting.
Okay, you just don't stop talking after that?
She thought she did something there, didn't she?
Did she? She was waiting for us to clap and we didn't. Yeah.
Boy, I almost cussed again.
I also totally agree with what Justin
said. A neck hurting, man. A neck hurting. She
like
can't even concentrate.
I'm barely here.
Man, I'm telling you, I've been there. I'm like,
since you're so concerned, Eric, just take your massage oils over there. And
so what's the next question?
Got you together. Got you together. Now sit
Nikki,
down.
go ahead. You was about to say something. Nikki, you was about to say something, weren't you?
I was saying that what Justin spoke earlier. When Justin answered the question earlier, I was thinking about how Justin really is that guy that really truly does do those types of things and help mentor and do things like that. And so is Ted. They'll help anybody any guys that they need help. You guys will pour into them. And Ken does that too. He does that as well with his family and with his friends, young men. So I'm just proud of all of y'all. I know that do those,
Give me examples when the last time Ken done it, Ted done it, and Justin done it.
Mika, Ted and Justin didn't do it all the time, and my husband does too as well.
See, I thought, okay.
Let
me just say this.
See, that's why I neck hurting right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why your neck hurting.
God, what the old folks
used to
say?
God
don't like ugly.
And can't even laugh good.
Look at her. She hurting right now. She don't even know what to do with herself.
That the men in our family, that's what they do.
And Justin, he gonna drink up all your beer while he doing it though.
What?
Yeah.
But it's gonna get done.
Okay, has everybody answered that question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got just a few minutes left. So we'll get some comments and then we'll do our final thoughts and wrap this one up. Jeff says the doc is in the building. Perspective pod. We in here. Yep. What's up, sugar mama? Hey man, y'all rent a room or something, man.
I
love it.
I wonder how they communicate.
Keep doing
y'all sitting next to each other on the couch. If y'all in different rooms, why y'all communicating through this chat room?
But this how close they was sitting the other night. I said, y'all better do it. Y'all better do it.
Yeah, y'all better sprinkle that black wood.
Okay.
All right, Facebook user says, but honestly, what can men do as a whole? My friends used to get on me when I said this, but all I can do is be in charge of my 3 boys and make sure they are productive citizens, and they are. They know dealing with me is going to be worse than dealing with the police if they be bad guys. Beyond that, I can't change the world. It's exhausting just being a good father to your own kids. And that may be true for you, that because that is your first responsibility, right? So I don't think anybody would begrudge you of that. However, again, and sometimes you said, what can men do as a whole? Sometimes the way you do your 3 boys is actually inspiration to somebody else. Absolutely. So even though you don't have the time, the energy, or the resources to extend your reach beyond your household, it is because of how you're taking care of your household that is actually extending the reach. So your example, because even though you don't think nobody may be paying attention, and you may not be getting the kind of recognition you need, I promise you, somebody is watching.
Yeah,
so
don't have to be
just keep doing what you're doing.
Gave a perfect example earlier when he talked about the young men he just ran into. He reinforced a good thing. He said, "I'm gonna cover them because they were having an intelligent conversation. They were conducting themselves a certain way." So to Facebook user, it may just be a compliment as you drop your boys off to their friend, or to just compliment them on something. It doesn't have to really be resource field as far resources as far as money or something tangible.
Yeah, that's right.
It's that intangible gift that you can give young men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be a situation where they encourage another dad. All you doing is say, "Hey, man, your boy is always sharp when I see it, man." Or,
Yeah.
"Hey, your boy is always polite when I see it." Or, "Your boy always got his haircut together when I see it." It can be just little stuff like that, man. You know, hey, I love the way y'all interact, man. When y'all get out of the truck, that's cool, man. You know, whatever, and it encourages to just do more of that act. Hey, it's not just the female in his house or the females in his family that encourage him on what kind of father he does or how his activities or actions shine. It is also man to man. You know, we can encourage by saying, "Hey, man, great job."
And we got to move beyond thinking those type of things are soft, right?
Yeah, I want to salute
because
him.
our society will say it real quick, like, "Oh, that's soft. Like, I ain't doing it. That's soft." There's nothing wrong with complimenting another Black woman or a Black man.
See Russell Wilson, right? He gets it all the time.
Yes.
You know, they don't want to be like him. Yeah.
And every time they do it, he knocks
Eric,
his hair up.
Right.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say what you say, man.
She said every time they say something about him, he gets Sierra pregnant again.
Say
that's how he take his frustrations out.
Yeah, solve that.
You showing y'all here lying.
Right. But Eric, you were going to salute to...
Yeah, I just want to salute Facebook user because he said, "Man, I'm taking care of my 3 boys." So, man, salute to you on that. That's what's up with it.
Absolutely.
Right on. And we will start with you, Eric, on final thoughts, sir.
Man, I think the thing that we would say is an underlining thing, and I love that the Queens, came with it and said, "Yeah, I think we do need to encourage our men." And just to hear Black women say that, I think Alicia mentioned just putting the post out, and I'm gonna be soft right now, man. I love them things, and I'm not even trying to. I'll come across it, and I appreciate it, like sincerely. Yeah. Like it definitely releases dopamine in my brain just to see the post and to know that it comes from a Black woman. So my final thoughts is like, let's encourage each other. And it doesn't, and I think a key element is it doesn't have to be monetary. It's really about attitude, encouragement, which is intangible, just the compliments. And we can continue to do that. And then of course, continue to do the things that we're discussing right now, having a conversation. And thank you to Queen 3 and King for having me on.
And don't forget that monkey.
But he said dopamine. You see, in fact, the producer will tell you we actually have a running show list, the topic list, and that's dope is one of them. And we talk about the impact of dopamine and the origin of that, what that dope is, and some of the ways that you can get dopamine rolling. You know. So that's bigger than you know, sir.
Okay.
Justin, Wiley, Price, Caraway.
He muted him, didn't you?
I tell you, man, you gonna get me in trouble with that. Now, my final thought really would be,
what should I call you? Justin Dwayne?
Once
Caraway?
again, is no, not at all. You could just call me Justin Caraway or Justin B. Caraway. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Jesse.
My final thought would be, you know, us as men lift each other up, encourage each other. I think that we have 3 strong, intelligent, beautiful women on the podcast tonight that basically gave advice to women as well. Don't be afraid of your man. Don't be afraid to encourage them. And, you know, they don't have to be your kids in order for you to be an example or set an example for them. Just letting people know that you're here and that you care, that there's good people in the world makes a huge difference. So I challenge that to not only men, but women as well. So just step up and be better as a community.
Okay. That's thank you, sir. All right. Nikki, final thoughts.
I just think that everybody all of us should try to be a little bit more caring. And when you see somebody that is struggling in the area of being supportive of other young men and stuff, because a lot of times some people may not know how to go about doing that. But maybe tonight, the way that the podcast was, they'll be able to do it themselves. Because maybe they may not have ever thought about what can I do to help? It's not always monetary. So they can just spend time with a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Just spend time with them and then pour into that young man. You can call him on the phone and talk to him, or you don't have to meet him in person and stuff, but just pour into him. Just pick, or even if you see somebody on the street, just pour into him if you have the time. So that's all I say is just y'all. I just thank God for men like my brother and my cousin and Eric on here for being who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not a lot of men that are willing to do the things that you guys do for other young men.
All right, educator queen, final thoughts, man.
I'll just echo what others have said. A little becomes a lot. It doesn't take a lot to encourage and uplift the next man or the next woman. I know we're talking about men, but if you see a man doing something that is beneficial or effective to the next young Black man coming up, encourage him. Just say, "Hey, I seen you." That encouraged me by or X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it takes a little word to encourage someone to do something for the next person. So a little becomes a lot, and just because you're affecting 2 or 3 doesn't mean that you're affecting won't affect a lot of people. I know, in our community, we feel like if I'm not affecting 1,000 people, that's not doing it. No, if you affect 2 or 3, it goes on and it builds.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
Baby queen.
Just thank you to Eric. Thank you to Justin for joining us tonight on this topic. I felt like you were the perfect guest to have on this show because y'all do so much in the community that I feel like y'all can really speak to it. But we just have to do better and hold each other accountable in our community. Men, stop laying with these sorry women that don't take care of their child. Ladies, stop laying with these sorry men that don't take care of their child because you're just saying that it's okay. I see a lot of dads and moms playing stepmom or stepdad of the year, but they don't take care of their own seed. So we just got that's another show we got to talk about.
Yeah.
But
where your seed at? That's the title.
Yeah, where your seed at? I like that. But yes, we just have a lot of work to do as a community. I think
my ashtray.
Nope. I think that we've come a long way. Just like Ted said, we're way better than we were 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's still work to be done, but we just have to hold each other accountable and keep pouring into our community, period.
Before I give my final thoughts and next week's show, Miss Producer, did you want to come on and say hello today? I know you got your good hair on. You've been shaking it over there like it's got all this body with it, and she been flipping it back there, y'all. I don't know if y'all be saying yeah, I wish the audience can. That's what we need to do. We need to somehow let the audience see what we see.
No,
okay.
Leave alone.
So for my final thoughts, let me just say this. I'm going to say this for this topic. Watch your response when he messes up.
That's right.
Men gonna mess up. We all mess up, right? But dads are gonna mess up. Fathers are gonna mess up. But you got to be careful how you respond with the kids around when he messing up. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna let a thought resonate in their minds that may not be accurate. That's gonna be based on a mess up here or there. Watch your response when you mess up. Sometimes you got to cover him. Right, and say, hey, dad didn't mean that, or dad did, you know what I'm saying? You got to circle back because it's best for the kid. You may be thinking to yourself, I done won. My kid like me more than they like their dad. And that don't get you shit.
Nothing.
You don't get no prize. You don't get no prize in here. So cover that dude because it's about your kid and their development and whatnot. To determine, that's what you're doing. You're affecting their future. So what? You get 5 minutes of fame with your kids. It ain't no popularity contest. No way. Cover him and say, hey, dad didn't mean that. Or, hey, dad works hard. Sometimes as adults, you get an opportunity to talk him through and prop him up with the kids so they don't start being discouraged about who he is and they still have trust in him. Because they gotta trust him for him to be able to impact them the way they needed to be impacted anyway.
Trust is bigger than love.
Yeah, get you out of it. It ain't got nothing to do with you at the end of the day. With that said, next week, Overcomers with King 2.0, AJ Jones. Overcomers is a topic he's covering in his ministry.
Kirk Franklin
in a teaching little segment that he's doing. So I wanted him to come on and talk about that. Again, we all, from our community, if there's no other community, we grew up in church. We were close to somebody in church. We got influenced by it. So being able to overcome is a big thing. In fact, I'll go ahead and segue into one of the biggest overcomers in the news cycle today, and that is Sha'Carri Richardson. Big shout out to her. She came back and is world champion now.
Right.
So you want to talk about the prime example of somebody who was at about the lowest low, and the entire world had something negative to say about her. For her to come all the way back to the top.
Yes, they did.
And guess what? She didn't do that by saying, "I am who I am. I'm perfect. I ain't gonna change. I ain't gotta change."
Talk about it.
She said, pride aside, and she did the work on herself. Not only the physical work and her training and stuff like that, but the way she lived her life. And when I say this, let me just say this. I wish she was here right now for me to tell her this, but when she went with that, with more of her natural hair and she's braiding and stuff like that, one of the things I thought about is like, she is absolutely gorgeous right now. Her entire persona has changed when she went back to, and I think I heard one of the commentators say she did that at a race. She pulled her wig off.
Yeah, she was standing. She was in the blocks. Jumping forward, she just threw it back. They got in the blocks and then burnt out on them.
Burnt out.
So
she took that hair off of her.
She said it was a new me, and I've changed. And this is she did it. So I think her biggest flex has not been the 10.65 she ran.
That's right.
But her biggest flex, man, is the grace and I would say the strong, pointed humility in which she has handled all the press.
That's right.
She kept it real funky.
That's
She's
right.
Like,
and super transparent. I see
she said, y'all been hating on me. But I'm good. I'm good. Don't come now. Go ahead, Alicia. I'm sorry.
I've seen videos of her like mentoring kids that are going through track, the younger kids, and she's telling them raw in those videos, like, I messed up for real, but I had to go back in my bag and do some self-evaluation and come back stronger. And she was like, and now I cannot be touched. She knew going into these races.
Biggest flex ever, man.
She is somebody that I think needs to be in front of young black girls right now.
Absolutely.
Really young black athletes, period. Because her story is one that so many young black athletes, and let me just put it like this. If you live in Garland, we done seen so many talented athletes that come out of here that messed up and never recovered. It's a lot of athletes that need to see this story, So again, big shout out to her. We appreciate everybody in the viewing audience that tuned in and whatnot. Join us again next week. Andre Jones gonna always bring it when he's here. And again, we showed him plenty of love with the awards we were blessed to win this year, with the for the third consecutive year, most versatile podcast, and also best featured guest this year with Donovan Lewis as well. So hey, we appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all next week on
y'all pray for my neck
of Queen 3 and King. Y'all say bye.
Want beef, then we cooking, bro. Bring the hook in. Queen 3 and King, we the team. It's going down. We the talk of the town. It's going down. We royalty, wear our crowns. It's going down. Tune in now. It's going down. It's going down. We just hit you with another one. It's going down. We just hit you with another one. It's going down. We just hit you with another one. Tune in now. We just hit you with another one. It's Queen 3 and King. 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 On BS3 Network.